Hi guys, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are well. Today we have the long-awaited DIY paneling tutorial. We have the long-awaited DIY paneling tutorial video. I will be sharing videos, etc. of our journey with some nice music in the background. I'll be sharing hints and tips, a step-by-step guide, and any other product recommendations. So if you would like to see our DIY paneling project on a budget, then this video is made for you. So please stick around, keep watching, and let's get stuck in. There's a couple of things I want to mention before we get into the steps. The first thing that I'd like to mention is cost. So paneling appears to be a project that people say is a cheap way of significantly enhancing the decor of your home to look absolutely lush and classy. But it did, I think, work out a little bit more pricier than we anticipated. Maybe I was just being optimistic, but I thought we could basically get it all done for like £100. I try to keep on target, and because I didn't meet my monetary target of getting all the paneling done for maximum £150, I'm a bit gutted about that, not gonna lie. The second thing I wanted to mention is about time. If you have put a weekend away, a Saturday and Sunday, in the hope that you will do your paneling project in that time, then think again, because you will need more time than that. We did the entrance, hallway, living room, and we did a mid border all around the apartment or flat, and it took us quite a few weekends to do. Lastly is just enjoy yourselves. Paneling is quite stressful. I consider myself to be quite a smart cookie, and I genuinely found it quite difficult to get my head around the angles. I am rubbish with maths and working out things and measurements, but you know, you will get there in the end, so be patient. So that's what I would say. So I just want to go through a list of what you need. Again, this video is aimed at people who are amateurs like us, or that we were, because I consider myself a DIY queen now after tackling this project, not gonna lie. Any links to anything may or may not be in the description box below. Hopefully I can add them in. Obviously, if you can't tell by my accent, I am from the UK, so these are UK stores. But I'm sure you have something similar where you are. The reason I mention that is because my most viewed video is my IKEA Packs wardrobe tour with hints and tips. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll put a thumbnail on screen for you. Have a look on my YouTube channel, it is there somewhere. And the most viewed country was US. So, which I'm absolutely chuffed about. So if you are from the US and you're watching, please leave a comment. So the fact that I've got people from the US watching, or anywhere in the world, is absolutely exciting for me. I'll go through the obvious things because you would be surprised that we didn't know we needed some of these. First thing that you will need, going to the basics, is a pencil. This pencil just happened to have my initials on it purely by coincidence. It wasn't intentional. This is a well-known brand or type of pencil in the UK, by the way. So you need a pencil and a rubber, I would recommend, and a piece of paper as well. This is our design, by the way. Hopefully you would have seen it in some of my, well, hopefully I've touched on it already, but if you need to screenshot that, do that now. Another essential for me, but may not be essential for everybody else, is masking tape or decorator's tape. This is absolutely essential if you're like me and you panic and you want to like pre-plan everything in advance. If you're not following our home Instagram account already, I'll link it on screen for you, but I did originally do a poll, and in that poll I asked people what paneling looks better to help me, because I was just so confused at the time. And I literally masking taped with this my designs, and I put A or B. I'll try to leave some pictures on screen, but this is absolutely really, this for me was the key. If there's anything that you take away from this video, it's just the importance of like pre-planning your paneling in advance. That's one thing that I really want people to take away from this video. It is time consuming, don't get me wrong, but it's worth the effort. The next thing you will need is a tape measure. Absolutely essential. Even if you're an expert, pretty sure they use a tape measure. You will also need a spirit level. We have loads of these. You can see from the behind me in the living room, the panels are quite big. I have like a meter one, a shorter one, and a smaller one. Luckily, most of this were given to us by family. So thanks, Dad. If you're watching, you saved me a lot of money from having to go and buy these, but it's good to have at home anyway. But you need these. Just to mention, you would, even if you're in a new build, people think that everything is level and, you know, it's not like a 1920 or 1930 property where things are maybe not as straight as you'd hope them to be. Our walls were bent. So if our developers happen to click on this video, I'm not impressed with the fact that the walls were curved. So yeah, but you need a spirit level 100%. You may or may not need sandpaper. You can buy this from Home Bargains B&M. I got it from there. I don't like touching it, so I'm just going to put it down. The next thing you will need is a saw. Some people have the electric saws available. We're lucky that my brother-in-law Mus had a machine available which he kindly gave us to use. That was the lifesaver. The cutting of the wood was the quickest. If not, you're going to need your traditional saws, which is what we used at first. You can get a small one from Home Bargains if your project is quite small, or you can use the standard saw. Speaking of that, a lot of people, like I said on YouTube, because of the fact that they use the handheld saw, you also need a miter block. This is from B&Q. I think I got it on sale actually, but they're between like 10 and 15 pounds. This was a bit more pricey, but it was on offer because it's got clamps. You'll see that this has all the angles labeled for you, which is what you need, and literally how it works. For those who don't know, because I didn't know this, it literally has the angles measured for you, and then you just slit it in the holes like so, and then you know, you can tell I didn't do any of that. You need your wood. These are the two that we use consistently throughout the apartment. You'll know that we've done the living room, entrance and hallway. So this we have going 3/4 of the way round on the wall, and then our smaller boxes were with this. You can get this in B&Q, Wix, wherever you like to go. We're lucky that we had a Selco membership, and I got these for significantly cheaper than B&Q. This particular design, B&Q sold for I think £8.50. We paid like £5 something per one of these. They come I think in 2 meters. To put it into perspective, one of the big boxes behind me, which I will try to show you now, is 2 rods of this. So each box cost us like £5 something, just FYI. You'll need a bucket. So thanks, Dad, for the bucket, because I didn't want to use my cleaning bucket. So you need a bucket and a sponge, because you'll need this to cork your excess cork off with. Just a plain paintbrush. I have painted the primer on and then rollered the rest, so you'll need a paintbrush. In terms of sticking the actual wood on the wall, we saw a lot of videos, especially the UK based ones, use what is called pink grip. This retails, it's quite cheap, less than £2. We didn't like this at all. The wood that we did use it, we used it on the hallway, and we found that the hallway, the walls weren't great. But this was very messy. It just didn't work for us. We had to hold it down for longer. We didn't really like it. I was then recommended to use this Miter Fast glue and adhesive spray. So this is from Toolstation. Toolstation, I must shout out to you guys, because you have the quickest click and collect service that I've ever seen in my life. You order something and then within 6 minutes you'll get a text to say it's ready. I think these are together probably about, I don't know, £7 or so. We went through about 2 or 3 of these. You spray the wood down first with the little nozzle, which stinks, by the way. It's got a really heavy smell, so just FYI. And then you just put down, stick down the wood with the glue. So brilliant, brilliant. And this worked for us, and it was really, really quick to stick on the wood, to be honest. You also need cork. The one that we used was this Evo-Stick Decorators cork. I got this, I think it was less than £2. It says it's over paintable in 60 minutes, which is true. It dries really quickly. Literally by the time I did the entrance and worked my way around, when I went back to the entrance, it was already dry. And then you obviously need this tool, obviously, to use the product. I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. But just to let you know, for those who didn't know, because I didn't, once you use this, there's this lever button here. If you don't press this, the cork just keeps squeezing out like a spot everywhere. I know that's really disgusting comparison, but I didn't know that. And when my fiance was doing it, I was like, look at, you know, we had a whole blob of this because he wasn't doing it. We didn't know this feature existed. So just FYI, we probably went through about 2 or 3 of these, by the way. Finally, obviously your paint, that's up to you what you choose. We've obviously gone with matte white, wipeable paint. We use Crown matte wipeable paint, which goes with the rest of the property. But the primer that I wanted to recommend is this Leyland acrylic primer. It says you can recoat it in 1 to 2 hours, clean in water, interior, exterior. If I'm honest, this dries probably within half an hour. I've done 3 coats. This is just primer behind me. It's not even painted. It's absolutely fantastic. It says low odor, but for me, it had no smell, which is even better. So strongly recommend, and it's quite reasonable as well. I don't think it was more than £10. I broke the paneling down into 6 key steps. Step 1 is to plan. What I mean by plan is you literally plan everything out in advance, so it just makes your life easier because you just follow what your plan is. If my friend Taylor is watching, he's going to be so disappointed in me because he knows that I hate crumpled paper or like crusty paper. This paper has been through a really hard time, but I've kept it to show it for this video. Excuse me if you can hear the crumples through my microphone. This is what the paneling looks like. If you need to screenshot it, then go ahead. This is something that I recommend you do if, like this, you're having a feature wall. So this is our design, and this is pretty much what we went on to a T. So you basically start off by measuring the length and the width of the wall. You measure all the gaps, okay, and then if you say, once you've measured all the gaps, you'll be left with a number. So our number, for example, was 363. So we had 363 centimeters to play with, and then we divided it by 4, which meant that each panel is 90.75 centimeters. So step 2 is then to draw your design on the wall. As you can see, I literally sat down and drew all the measurements onto the wall as they were. Now, this step, I would say, is probably the most time-consuming step because I was leveling it as I was going along. So I literally was drawing the line, making sure it was level, which basically meant that once we cut the wood, we just had to stick it on. Technically, you don't even have to level it when it's on the wall because it was already leveled with the drawing. Is then to cut your pieces of wood. We ended up using not a handsaw but a machine. The sticking process is fairly quick. The product I recommended, the Mitre Fast Glue, we found was really quick. This back panel I think we stuck on in about half an hour, top and bottom, just because everything was ready and we'd got the hang of it by then. So we have this massive machine that my brother-in-law gave us, and we were doing it by hand. There's nothing to say that you can't do it by hand, but obviously we're in a flat. We don't really have anywhere to put like the saw to saw it off. This machine, I think, is from Toolstation, so I'll link it, but I doubt anyone's gonna go and buy it. And all the dust basically goes in this bag, but I mean, it is still quite dusty, not gonna lie. And it's got here, it's got the a laser beam, so you just literally just cut straight off, and you move this around, do the angles. But yeah, I'm not gonna be touching this machine anytime soon. Step 4 is to caulk any gaps. So that basically includes filling in any gaps with the good old caulk, wiping any excess off with a damp sponge and letting that dry. So we have done the paneling for the hallway, but I just wanted to show you some of the problems that you may or may not run into. So our property is actually a new build, but the walls seem to not be straight. This wall isn't too bad. So as you can see here, you can see where, I do apologize for my nails. Let me use this hand if it's any better. So if you see here, we have the lines that I drew to guide my fiance when he was sticking down the panels. So if you can see here, we have, I mean, this one isn't, you can't really see in this one, to be fair. This wall seems to be quite level, but there is very, very small gaps where the wall is not level. We have the machine to help us with cutting the corners, but you can see that some of the corners weren't like 100% flush. So we're gonna use caulk to, is it caulk or chalk? I don't know. Chalk to fill it in. And then I will show you as I'm doing it. Fairly straightforward. Step 5 is therefore to prime your wood. So we use the primer that I will mention shortly. So you just prime the wood, and you need a couple of coats, at least 2 or 3 coats. And step 6 is to paint your design. So So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. If you ended up doing paneling after watching this video, let us know. If this video put you off doing paneling, then please let me know. If it made you want to embark on a paneling project, let me know. If there's any other products that you recommend, drop them in the comments. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and stopping by if you're still watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and stay safe.